Okay, so hopefully this goes over a little bit better than the last video. What we're trying to do here is I'm trying to help you with the back side of the homework for today. You should know how to do the first 6 without any problem. We did all that yesterday and the day before. But 7 through 14 we hadn't really looked at yet. And basically it's writing a parabola from 2 points. Big thing that we're going to look at is finding the vertex and then finding the other point and using that to find the equation of our parabola. So we're going to start with our equation of a parabola, which is f of x is equal to a x minus h, fix that h, squared plus k. And remember that hk is our vertex. So our vertex is hk. Okay, and we're going to use stuff we know to find a. Well, I already know what the vertex is from looking at this point. If I look at this graph right here, I can see the vertex is right here at the point 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So my vertex in this case is 2, 3. And then I want to find another point on this graph. And I see a couple of different places I can find another point on this graph. I could use the point 1, 4. There's a point. I could use the point 0, 7. I could use the point 3, 4. Or I could use the point 4, 7. I think I'm going to go ahead and use the point 1, 4. So I'm going to use this other point. So this other point 1, 4. And that point's important because I can use this as my x and y coordinates. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to plug these in for x and y. So 1 will be plugged in for x, 4 will be plugged in for y. And we want to plug these back into this vertex form of our parabola. And what that will allow us to do is it will allow us to find a. Okay, so I'm going to plug them in. And remember, y and f of x are essentially the same thing. F of x just means that it's a function. Y could be any equation with 2 variables, y and x. So I'm going to plug in 4 for f of x. So 4 is equal to, now I don't know what a is. I don't know what a is, so I have 4 for f of x. I don't know what a is. And then I'm going to plug in x minus h squared. Okay? So x in our case is 1. X is 1. Minus h. And remember, our vertex is hk. So h in this instance is 2 squared. Okay? So that takes care of my f of x is equal to a x minus h squared, and now I'm going to put in plus k at the end. And my k is 3. So plus 3. And now I have a simple equation that I can solve for a. And we remember our order of operations. We have to do the parentheses first. So I have 4 is equal to a parentheses negative 1 squared plus 3. Now I've solved what's in parentheses. I have to do the exponent. So I have 4 equals a, and my exponent is negative 1 squared, so that's just a positive 1 plus 3. I don't have to write a times 1, so I can just say 4 is equal to a plus 3, because 1 times a is a. Subtract 3, and I get a is 1. Now why was that so important? Well, the vertex form of a parabola, or an equation of a parabola, is going to always include f of x and x. As long as I know a, h, and k, I can write out the vertex form. So here's the final step to this equation. I have f of x is equal to a, which is 1, times x minus h, h being 2, squared plus k. Now, if that seemed a little too fast for you, that's fine. I'm going to work out number 9, number 11, and number 13 in the same manner. You could also take this recording and rewind it if you need to. So let's look at number 9. Okay, now I'm given a vertex and a point, and I actually think this is a little bit easier. We remember that our vertex is h, k, and our point is what we're going to use as x, y, or you could even say this is x, f of x, because that's essentially what these things are. Okay? So here's our equation. F of x is equal to a x minus h squared plus k. That's the vertex form of a parabola. And that's important. Make sure you memorize that, write that down somewhere. Okay? So now I'm going to plug in my values. F of x is negative 5. We can see f of x is negative 5 is equal to a, which I don't know. That's what I'm looking for. X, I guess I shouldn't say x. I should put in the value. That's negative 2 minus h. Now notice h is a negative 3. Now I can write out minus a negative 3, but I should realize that's plus 3. Okay, I'm going to square that, and then I'm going to add k to the end. So k is 7. I'm going to add 7 to the end. So I've got negative 5 is equal to a times 1 squared plus 7, or negative 5 is equal to, we know 1 squared is 1. We don't really have to write a times 1, so we're just going to write a plus 7. I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, and I get negative 12 is equal to a. Now that I have a, I'm going to substitute it back into this equation with just h and k. So just h, k, and a go back in. F of x and x can vary, and that's why we have so many different points on the line. So here's my final step. F of x is equal to a, which is negative 12, x minus h, and remember this is minus a negative 3, so I'm going to make that plus 3, squared plus k, and remember k is 7, so we're going to put plus 7. So that's my equation of a parabola in vertex form when it went through the vertex and a point. Okay, so if you need to pause it there, pause it. If not, we're hopping on to number 11. Okay. Number 11, again, our vertex, h, k. Our point, x, f of x. We have our vertex form of a parabola. F of x is equal to a x minus h squared plus k. So I'm going to substitute in my values. And hopefully we're getting a little bit better at this right now. We've got 0 equals a, and now we have x, which is negative 6, and recognize minus a negative 2. So that's plus 2 squared minus 5, because it's plus a negative 5 for k. And we have to be careful with our negative signs. That's really going to be where we make the most mistakes, is with the signs. So if we take our time, we can make sure we don't make mistakes. So I've got 0 is equal to a times a negative 4 squared minus 5. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. And while I add 5 to both sides, I'm going to go ahead and square the negative 14, or the negative 4, I'm sorry. And when I square negative 4, I get 16. Don't make the mistake of plugging negative 4 into your calculator and getting a negative 16. We know that a negative times a negative is a positive. If I divide both sides by 16, I get a is equal to 5/16. And that's okay to have a fraction. In fact, I believe on number 10 or 12, you're going to have a pretty weird fraction. So it's okay to have a fraction here. So now we substitute our values back in for A, so for A, for H, and for K, back into the original equation. So f of x is equal to, we have A, which is 5 over 16, 5 over 16, x minus h, so we're going to do x minus a negative 2, so x plus 2 squared, and then plus a negative 5, which we write as minus 5. And there's our answer to number 11. Okay? Let's take a look at the last one, number 13, and then you guys can go ahead and hopefully do 8, 10, 12, and 14 on your own. So vertex, here's H, here's K. Our point, f, x, and f of x. Kind of sloppy there. X and f of x. Okay. F of x is equal to a x minus h squared plus k. Remember the vertex form. Now I know we don't have to write this out every time, but it helps. It'll help us remember the equation. Now we substitute our values in. F of x is 3, so 3 is equal to a, which we don't know, x, which is 2, minus h, which is 3, squared, plus k, and k being a negative here, we can write it as minus 2. If you want to write plus a negative 2, that's fine. That's the same thing. I'm going to simplify what's in parentheses. 3 is equal to a times a negative 1 squared minus 2. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 to both sides. I get 5 is equal to, and the reason I went ahead and added 2 is I know that negative 1 squared is 1, and 1 times a is just a, so 5 is a. So the last step, f of x is equal to a, which now know is 5, x minus h, that's minus 3, squared, and that's going to be plus k at the end, but since k is a negative 2, it's minus 2. Okay, hopefully this 12.5-minute video helped you finish your assignment today. Good luck.